Honorable Leader of the House, that we should tread cautiously. Rightly so. But, Mr. Speaker, we have heard a colleague make a statement for Hansa that the respected senior member sent soldiers here to kill us. Those were the words. Mr. Speaker, in the same spirit, we need to be careful. Two, I have publicly acknowledged the diplomacy of the majority leader, and I have no reason to doubt him. But I always act in good faith. I shared with him, although private, but I will tender it since it has been raised. Videos of soldiers in uniform raiding the residence of Mr. Keno Foriata. Mr. Speaker, indeed, he is right in saying that the man being spoken about as the one leading the team is now a civilian. That is true. Mr. Richard Jakpa, who works with national security, and indeed the one who led the soldiers, is a state security operative. But, Mr. Speaker, the point is very clear. That
are you very sure that it's a state security operative?
Mr. Speaker, he says so. It's not coming from me. He confirmed. These are the words of the majority leader. It's not mine. That is what, So, Mr. Speaker, yes, he has confirmed. He says he is a state security operative. It's not coming from me. Mr. Speaker, I have shared the videos with him, and I was fair in my dealings with him by saying that this is a matter that I want to raise. So, Mr. Speaker, let us be guided by what he has just told us and allow our colleague to proceed. I have gotten
to come. I'm grateful for this opportunity to withdraw the words he brought in military to kill his brothers. My understanding of the role of the military is that they are trained to kill. That's where I was coming
Honorable
from.
Suleiman.
So I withdraw.
Honorable Suleiman. Are you withdrawing?
So I'm withdrawing.
Are you withdrawing? Or what are you doing?
All the definitely. He's my brother, and I will not do anything to hurt him. So I withdraw them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable,
that as brothers, we are able to understand each other. That should be the spirit that we carry on in the administration of government. Mr. Speaker, we all have a right, and Chapter 5 of the Constitution guarantees our rights as citizens. In fact, Mr. Speaker, if you look at Article 14 of our Constitution, it is very clear. It is very clear that no person shall be deprived of their liberty except in accordance with the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, the rate and the style, the Rambo style at which they invaded Keno Foriata's house. This morning, my little daughter came to me, and she was asking me, "Daddy, is Ghana at war?" Then I asked her, "Why? Mommy, why? Why? What is happening?" Then she was like, "Daddy, get on social media."
Honorable member,
look at how many
I am not supposed to be interrupting you. You quoted a constitutional provision that we need to act in accordance with the law. Are we going to be able to establish whether they have acted in accordance with law or not? Is this House going to establish whether they have acted in accordance with law or not, having regard to the fact that justice emanates from the people of Ghana and it is exercised on their behalf by the judiciary?
Mr. Speaker, it is very clear. It is very clear that from all the statements we have read from the OSP, there's no warrant. People invaded the house of Keno Foriata. Today, even the OSP that we all thought that led that attack It's even running away from the fact that he led those tax to Kenuforiata's house. Mr. Speaker, today we have a former military person who has been caught on video, clear video, invading the house of Kenuforiata. Mr. Speaker, that should not happen. I'm saying that.
Honourable member, did I hear you say he's running away from the facts? He made a categorical statement that the people are imposters.
Who made that statement?
And he didn't authorize them.
Well,
and
so,
you said he's running away from that particular fact, as if he authorized them and now running away from them.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I appreciate your guidance. I appreciate your guidance.
The statement made by the deputy minority whip was made in the realm of the purported violation of the rights of the former finance minister. If my understanding of that statement serves me right.
Honorable Kenuforiata, a former Minister of Finance and a former presidential envoy, has contributed to nation building. Mr. Speaker, in 2021, when His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo nominated him for the finance ministry portfolio, this House had to wait because he indicated he was unwell and seeking for medical, and in between, this House indulged him to enable him take some break, to enable him proceed with his vetting. Eventually, he left government as a cabinet minister. And, Mr. Speaker, for the records, on the 2nd of January 2025, he wrote to the then Chief of Staff that he needed to travel to Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, USA, for some medical procedure. Mr. Speaker, after President Mahama had taken office, he again wrote to the current Chief of Staff in a letter dated the 22nd of January 2025, indicating that he would again be absent from Ghana for the same purpose. Mr. Speaker, in fact, in the said letter to the Chief of Staff, he attached a letter from the hospital that he was seeking treatment. The first letter that he received from the OSP, seeking medical treatment. John Jinapo has narrated his own ordeal, but the records of this House will confirm that when that happened, Right Honorable Speaker Okwe condemned that act. If indeed something had happened yesterday, it does not mean that we should continue today.
I want to make is that all regimes at all times have used the military together with the police in certain operations. You agree that that is the case? So today, if you see the military and the police working together, you cannot suddenly create an impression that something that is unacceptable has happened. Because we have used them together. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, night security, just night security. When we should be deploying the police, we often deploy them with the soldiers. So let's not make it look like, for the first time, something that has never been heard of is happening in this country simply because a joint military and police team have visited the residence of the former finance minister. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Yaopimpong.
Mr. Speaker, is that don't make it seem as if something unheard of has happened because soldiers and police have, including my very good self. The OSP has investigated me, has taken me to what they call it, the court. I have fought my case. I have won. I won. So I advise you. If
Honorable Majority Leader, please address the chair. Honorable Dominic Nitiwu,
I advise you.
You are a senior member of the House.
Instead of making it a subject of debate in this chamber, please go and answer the questions like some of us boldly and confidently went and answered the questions. I would caution that this is a statement that definitely will generate commentary that will provoke debate in clear violation of our standing orders. And I caution that it is a statement that will attract comments that will. My friends on the other side insisted and made a statement. Mr. Speaker, if you are a believer in the rule of law and you know the law, you know that if you claim that somebody has improperly searched your house or your property, you go to court. You go to court for the courts to declare that your property rights have been violated, that your dignity has been violated, and the courts are there to provide you that service of taking a decision as to whether or not indeed your rights have been violated. In court, the two sides will be there, and they will all be heard. But if you choose to use a political platform like this one, Parliament, to raise matters that, properly speaking, are the business of courts, you will receive political responses. And that is what I see happening here. Mr. Speaker, as for me, what I hear being said here is that there is a certain class called the political class, and that political class must take care of each other. And what I hear being said in this chamber is that taking care of each other means that we should not hold each other accountable. Mr. Speaker, I have always contended that it will be the most dangerous thing that will happen to the democracy of this country if a certain group called the political class are allowed to conspire to protect each other. Because what will happen, Mr. Speaker,
Honourable members, order.
Mr. Speaker, I am saying what I hear. What I hear. There has been several referrals to a group called political class. Did you hear that or not? Several times there was a referral to a group known as a political class. And several times a call on members of the political class not to do this to each other. And what do we mean by let's not do this to each other? Let's not, when there is a change in government, try to hold each other accountable this way or that way. I take a position that, indeed, the reason why the voters go and vote for one political party as against the other is so that they will come and hold each other accountable. The day that we stop holding each other accountable, that will be the day the electorate will lose confidence in this democracy.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
All right, good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us here on Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Awudu Moro. It's always a pleasure, as I always do say, to join you this morning. It's a pleasure knowing that you tune in this very minute to watch Good Morning Ghana because of the quality of the conversations that take place here or takes place here. And once again, I'd want to say Juma Mubarak to our Muslim brothers and sisters today. We'll all be expected to be at the mosque in a moment from 11 to go and worship, and 1:30 we're done. And so Juma Mubarak to our Muslim brothers and sisters. I'll go straight to the point and look at what the newspapers are reporting this morning. So I'll start with, as usual, the Daily Graphic. So the Daily Graphic this morning is reporting, it says, committee probes recruitment into security agencies. Agric Ministry rolls out irrigation for wealth creation in 8 regions. Car Power threatens shutdown over $370 million debt. Political class must hold itself accountable, majority leader. The Ghanaian Times. Public express mixed reactions over cancellation of Grand Independence celebration. Government sets up committee to review security service recruitments to eliminate partisanship. Minority unhappy over growing trend of political witch hunt. Ghana faces imminent power crisis as car powership threatens shutdown over $370 million debt. Daily Guide. Declaring Oforiatta fugitive, national embarrassment, NPP. Court frees Nyantechi over Anna's absence. Oforiatta's house raid. We are sorry, Ayariga. Bawumia to deliver keynote address at Harvard University. MP slams Ashanti Council of State election vandalism. The new weekend crusading guide. Messy raid on Ken Oforiatta's house. Such outmoded politics could destroy our country. Dr. Stephen Amwa cautions. It won't happen again, a majority leader assures, says raid on Ken Oforiatta's home regrettable. Bawumia delivers keynote address at Harvard University 14 to 15 February. Government announced rollout of irrigation for wealth creation phase 1. Alwyn youth condemn traditional council's ban on MP, demand retraction. Bahamas reset agenda is a deterioration. MPP. The Insight. Rename airport after Nkrumah in recognition of first president vision, hard work, says Asidu Nketia. Israel is a rogue nation and should be removed from the United Nations. GPHA refutes allegations of corruption in $90 million Buankra Inland Port project. Director of a non-existing Qatar seaport sacked. 2 faces of justice, the hypocrisy of the Western judiciary. The Herald newspaper. PDS kingpin Julius Pepena dribbles NDC and snatches ECG MD job. Energy Minister delays Mohammed's orders on ENI Springfield utilization conflict. Dominic Ayene lectures Godfrey Dami on criminal law as he explains why high-profile political cases were dropped. Anyway, my understanding is that Dominic Godfrey Dami is actually holding a presser this morning at 10:30. I've forgotten what the venue is, but there's a presser happening at 10:30 this morning. Anyway, so GEPA, GIPC, and Shippers Authority bosses hold strategic meeting. Calls for Minerals Commission's Galamsey CEO removal intensify. MIIF, that's MIF, denies illegal transactions in cash movement, says it chased 13% interest. The Informer. Allegations of bribery and favoritism in MMDC selection. Central Region NDC officer calls for investigation. Decision to drop cases. Mine. AG owns up to clearing agent tag. Hint of fighting compensations claim. Now ongoing OSP investigations. Telemo, NPP MP Tons Oforiata. Payroll fraud. OSP saves Ghana. 6 suspects to stand a trial. UPPF investigation. I am ready to cooperate. Mustafa Hamid's patriotic and courageous stance. Towards battling a Futu cholera outbreak, Health Director hails Afenyo Makin's support, blames open defecation for crisis. The Inquisitor. Asasi Broadcasting in crisis. Before taking any decisions on cases dropped, consulted widely. Ayene. Editors and editorial. Ansasar is too old and noble to be busybody against OSP. Defense Minister poised to ensure peace in Boku. And coming up, chameleon politics of Minerals Commission Chief Executive Martin Kweku Eyisi. The Daily Statesman. We will resist political persecution. MPP warns Mahama. Dr. Hezua charges government to prove oral is not political witch hunt. Impraisu MP condemns political purges in public service. Baumi addresses Harvard Africa Business Conference. Government clears national service arrears. The Daily Searchlight. Give us Kusi Brako as MCE, Biriam Central residents. Ken Oforiata, NPP AFAG, unhappy with OSP national security attacks. School under tree in Bono region. The Ghanaian publisher. Isiama unfit for Bank of Ghana, says CDM, charges Mahama to terminate his appointment. History will judge NDC, minority slum state-sponsored intimidation. Efutu Traditional Council launches 2025 Abuache. Majority apologizes over attack on Ken Oforiata. The Custodian. Ayarga apologizes to Ken over house raid. Bamia speaks at Harvard University today. Remove new Bank of Ghana Governor CDM to Mahama. Minority slum state-sponsored persecutions. Daily Post. Ayine, Jinapo, Ejenim Boating, Agboja and Co. recount how MPP used soldiers to raid their homes in 2017 as NPP complained being given a small taste of their own better medicine with the raid of Ken Oforiata's house. Vitus Azim, Oforiata has caused Ghanaians a lot of harm. You won't hear of ghost names again under my watch, NSA boss assures. The Catholic Standard. Put aside ego and indiscipline. Speaker to parliamentarians. Dignity of migrants comes first. Pope on U.S. mass deportation. Nuncio calls on religious to live Christ-centered lives. Editorial. When the cycle of violence in schools haunt a nation, 50% of prison inmates suffer psychological distress. The New Weekend Crusading Guide. It says, messy raid on Ken Oforiata's home. Such outmoded politics could destroy our country. I think I've done this already. The Business and Financial Times. GCB Bank, new MD pays courtesy call on Gan Manche. Stronger fiscal discipline needed to ensure economic stability. World Bank. IFC, LIM Holdings deepening partnership to expand clean energy to industrial zones. Downstream petroleum sector at risk of collapse. That's according to CSOs in energy sector warn. Combat to help lead Tema Oil refinery revamp as deputy MD. And Tony Elumelu Foundation to empower 1,000 young African entrepreneurs. So these are the big stories on the front page of the newspapers. When I come back, I will be introducing my guest. Stay with us, please.
Experience the enhanced protection of Star Motor Third Party Extra from Star Assurance, an enhanced motor third party insurance policy that provides cover for loss or damage to your vehicle's windscreens, side mirrors, back glass, and other glass components. Whether it's a crack or major damage, you can drive with the assurance that your vehicle is well protected. Our commitment to you includes affordable coverage options and a claims process that is both fast and straightforward, so you spend less time dealing with paperwork and more time on the road. Also, we have proudly partnered with Hope for Little Lives, an organization dedicated to supporting children in need. By choosing Star Motor Third Party Extra, you're protecting your vehicle and making a positive impact. Every policy you buy helps bring joy and support to children in underserved communities. Reach out to us now on our toll-free numbers 0800-177-177 or 0302-245-906 to sign up. Let us help you drive with peace of mind and purpose. Star Motor Third Party Extra. Drive with confidence, give back with heart.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Look around. Home also need a makeover. Mine clearly does. So we went to Ashroom and found the Como collection. It had everything we're looking for and more. Matching furniture for the entire home, designed with you in mind.
Where's Como collection? Dressing up is just a breeze. Always ready with a perfect accessory.
A magic dressing mirror. One look and you're ready to face the world. Or at least the kids.
A bed perfect for young men who want
a table that turns into a treasure chest.
And finally, a sofa with this grand TV unit for family time at home.
Head over to any Ashphone store now and discover the new Como collection. Ashphone, feel it, know it.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
In an era where fire safety is paramount, Kabori Film Compound Technologies Limited stands out as a leader in the development of innovative fire dousing solutions. With a focus on aqueous film forming foam, the company provides a cutting-edge product that significantly enhances fire suppression capabilities across various sectors, including maritime, industrial and emergency response.
The oil and gas sector, along with chemical manufacturing facilities and fire services.
Kabori's advanced film technology offers a more efficient and environmentally responsible alternative.
Kabori is recognized for its superior extinguishing capabilities and prolonged resistance to reignition. Kabori's product is certified by the Ghana National Fire Service, the Ghana Standards Authority, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Nigerian Standards Organization.
Kabori Film Compound Limited is situated in Nsawam within the eastern region of Ghana. For inquiries, reach out to them on 0245 885 288 or 0244 514 048. You may also contact them via email at info@kaborifilm.com. Kabori Film Compound Technologies Limited, providing film compound solutions to help institutions.
Who are you? Who are you? Charlie, I'll be you from the future. Who doesn't sleep on that slice of bread for mattress anymore? Don some slippers, then follow me.
You just buy the mattress we did it from there.
Yeah?
That'll be the mattress where the dead go.
Wait, what are you doing? Wow! No damage at all. Not only durable, but also super comfortable. Come on, try it.
Nothing day like Ash Foam. Enjoy full body support and unparalleled comfort for a restful sleep.
Don't forget your keys.
Get the premium sleep experience with mattresses from Ash Foam. Visit any of our showrooms nationwide or at ashfoam.com.
Paying for your Showmax is easy. Just choose your preferred payment method from these easy and convenient options: MTN Momo, Visa or MasterCard, Showmax vouchers at DSTV or GoTV sales agents, or use a promo code. Enter your payment details and hit submit. Showmax. Pay easy, stream easy.
Customer, I don't know who to say.
Malaria been actually me, man. No more brand, man, still.
One of them give us.
Give us a solid.
Yeah, sorry. What rest of so give us here and turn down.
But so good as so. But for me to give us the and turn down.
Give us about me, sir.
Me patron the and turn down.
Customer. Give us a turn down.
Onuya kayo oba wa fa furo nom de o ma no bonu fo nom akwada wa ni fie dumie no ono nso nom.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's party time! Ignite Media, in collaboration with AUCC, presents the Campus Red Party! On Valentine's Day, Friday, 14th February 2025, all roads lead to the forecourt of the AUCC campus at Adabraka for an unforgettable party experience. Artists passing through include Slim Kid,
Clowns in the Circus,
Mufti, Kitty Eyes, and many more. DJs on the night include Kelvin DJ, NK DJ, DJ Juicy, and our very own DJ Legend. So join us on the forecourt of AUCC live on Friday night from 5 p.m. till Mama Calls. Campus Red Party is brought to you by Blue Jeans Vodka Mix. See you on Friday, Valentine's Day, at the forecourt of AUCC for this amazing experience you will not forget.
Good afternoon and welcome to the headquarters of the New Patriotic Party. We have called you here to address three critical issues. That is the shocking conduct of the Special Prosecutor, Mr. Kisi Ejabin,
in declaring Ken Ofori-Atta, the former finance minister, as a fugitive and also a wanted person. And also we'll be addressing the unconstitutional revocation of appointment and recruitment. You recall that the Chief of Staff, through a directive to all state institutions, directing them to revoke all appointments made after December 7th, 2024. And again, the obnoxious nolle prosequi that freed individuals who have cases to answer in court and to the Ghanaian people. These are issues that should concern all Ghanaians, because if left, we need to address these issues in its proper perspective. They can collectively undermine the due process provisions of our laws and the human right of citizens. It can also unduly interfere in the work of the judiciary, and it will weaken our cherished democracy. Yesterday, Mr. Kisie Jabin held a press conference and declared Ken Ofori-Atta, the former Minister of Finance, a fugitive from justice. It is baffling that a special prosecutor, a lawyer, and a law lecturer could make such basic mistake in labeling a person of interest who has not been charged and remains in contact through his lawyers as a wanted individual or a fugitive. Isn't that odd? A respected legal personality, a former director of the Ghana Law School, Mr. Ansan Asare, says that this act is not only barbaric, but uncouth, uncivilized, and unethical. Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Ofori-Atta is not evading accountability, as the OSP claimed. On January 2nd, 2025, he wrote a letter to the then Chief of Staff, Madame Frema Oseo-Pare, that he was traveling to the United States for a follow-up medical visit. He included his current and reliable contact information at the end of the letter. On January 22nd, 2025, Mr. Ofori-Atta again wrote to the new Chief of Staff, Mr. Julius Debra, to inform him that he was overseas for a medical examination. He concluded his letter with the following: please do not hesitate to reach out if there is any information you will need in the interest of the state regarding the fact that I've been or I've held some formal positions in government. Mr. Ofori-Atta also provided reliable email addresses for any required communication. He also attached his letter to the former Chief of Staff for Mr. Debra's reference. 2 days after he wrote this letter to the Chief of Staff, the special prosecutor sent a letter, and this was January 24th, 2025, sent a letter to Mr. Ofori-Atta's residence regarding a directive to appear at the office of the special prosecutor on Monday, February 10th, 2025. That was the date for him to appear, to discuss suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses. The letter also enumerated 4 matters being investigated by the OSP. Then on January 31st, Mr. Oforiatta responded to the special prosecutor's letter through his lawyer, stating that our client notified the former chief of staff in earlier January and more recently informed the current chief of staff about his trip outside the country for medical reasons. Our client is currently undergoing medical observation and test, which will lead to a decision about his treatment. After that, he will have a clearer idea of when to proceed to Ghana. Therefore, we respectfully wish to inform you that we will notify you of his arrival to the country so that you can reschedule your invitation to him for purposes stated in the heading of your reference letter. 5th February 2025, the special prosecutor responded to Mr. Oforiatta's lawyer, stating that the OSP declines your request to be away from the jurisdiction indefinitely on medical grounds based solely on your statement. You are required to indicate by the close of business on Monday, February 10th, 2025, a reasonable date for your return to the jurisdiction and attendance to the OSP. If you fail to do so, the OSP will take all necessary legal steps to secure your return to the jurisdiction and your attendance to the OSP in our discretion. Let me make this reference quickly. You recall that there was also another matter the OSP was investigating, the famous Ebekanitetium, Bonitofa. Good afternoon, and recruitment.
All right, so welcome back. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. It's been a very, very busy day. In fact, it was a very busy day yesterday. As you do know, the New Patriotic Party held a news conference, and we're playing you excerpts of that. And Anabachi, who was the national organizer of the party, was the one who addressed the press. It's actually one of the issues that we intend to look at on Good Morning Ghana today, and it's in relation to the declaration of the former Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta as a fugitive. He's been wanted to complete a criminal process which has begun by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. The Finance Minister says he's unwell. He's seeking medical treatment abroad, and so post-March or after March, he'll be able to tell Ghanaians when he'll be available to attend to the invitation by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. So we'll look broadly into those issues. Now, my guest is seated, and at least for now, Vincent Eko Asefua is the Member of Parliament for the Old Trafford constituency, and also a former Deputy Minister for Local Government Decentralization and Rural Development. And he's joined us. Good morning, Honourable. Thank you so very much for joining us. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
How are you, sir?
Last week I couldn't make it.
Yeah, you couldn't make it last week. So. Yeah, but you're a busy man, so I understand. You're a very busy man.
Thank you so
Everybody
much.
wants a piece of you, so. Yeah.
So you say.
Anyway, so also joining us shortly is the Member of Parliament for the Sagnerego constituency. It's called Issa Atta. Some call him Atta Issa, some call him Issa Atta. Well, either way, he says it's fine. He was a man who was able to beat the political giant, ABF Husseini, in that primaries that was held in the constituency. He's a first-time MP. He'll also be joining us shortly for a conversation on the back of the many, many issues that have come up. Vincent, you have been trending. You have been trending Well, whether for the right or wrong reasons, it depends on where you stand. But I must have been yesterday or so, most of the media houses, or most of the, I think your story was awash on social media, where you were saying that the former finance minister is on his own and that he should go and face the music squarely and as an individual. In fact, I think today's Informer newspaper also captured it. Yes, it says ongoing OSP investigations, tell him more. Okay, so that's one. And then also, must have been on Tuesday. No, well, that's on Wednesday. We saw that statement that you issued personally on the back of the decision by the government to terminate the contracts of persons who were appointed by the Etswale Akufo-Addo regime or administration post December 7, and instruction by the Chief of Staff to terminate their contracts for stated reasons, and the reasons have been stated why they did not deserve to be there. Now, you have personally issued a statement, and you are saying that two things. What was done was unlawful, and so you're going to take it to court. It also sets what you believe is a bad precedent, and so you intend to test the matter in court to get the court to reinstate them. I believe that basically will be what you would want the court to do, what you'll be praying the court to do. But you also stated in that statement that a future MPP government would reinstate these same persons who have been dismissed by the government, by the Mahama government. Why did you decide to do this?
Well, Moro, let me say a very good morning to you once again, and to your cherished viewers, especially the good people of Otafo constituency. They are my employers. It is by virtue of their trust that they have in me that I sit here today as a member of Parliament for the good people of Otafo. So I'm grateful to them. On Wednesday, in Parliament, as the acting secretary of the Ashanti Caucus.
Oh, you're the acting secretary for the Ashanti Caucus?
Caucus,
okay.
Yes.
I'm hearing this for the first time.
So we had a press conference. The press conference was in relation to the show of thuggery and machoism in Ashanti region, based on the Council of State elections. The Ashanti Regional Minister is supposed to be the chairman of security in the region, and the elections were held at his backyard. He was not able to provide the necessary security to ensure that there's a safe environment for us to be able to have that elections.
Free, fair, and transparent elections.
Without the thuggery and machoism. It was on that basis that the Ashanti Region Caucus decided to embark on a press conference at the foyer of Parliament. I did the Twi version on behalf of the caucus. My senior brother, the Honorable Amprechum, did the English version. So after the interview, after the press conference, about half of the members of the press engaged me on the sidelines. In that engagement, they asked me about the termination of this appointment, that they've heard that I am going to court to represent those persons who are likely to be affected, because you remember at the time, it was only the Ghana Water Company Limited that had written a letter in response to the letter from the Chief of Staff, which letter, in my estimation, was even at variance with the directive of the Chief of Staff, because the Chief of Staff mentioned that it is only for persons who were appointed or employed after the 7th of December. But the Ghana Water Company Limited's letter was for even persons who were employed or appointed in
Before
November.
December 7th.
even in November. But initially, I hesitated in granting that interview with them because I felt that the main purpose of our press conference was on the thuggery and the show of machoism in Ashanti region, which we condemned, and we also asked the Electoral Commission to make sure that the right thing is done. Per the information that we gathered, sorting was almost done, and so it was clear that the candidate was winning. It was on that basis that some members of the NDC brought about that chaos. So when I was done with that particular interview, I was just about leaving. And one other guy also asked the question, because I was on the floor of Parliament before that press conference. And when I was on the floor of Parliament, my honorable leader had already made a statement to the lawless act of certain persons who went into the house of Ken Ofori-Atta. Because we are not in a jungle. So I term that as lawless act. It's unfortunate. I mean, Ghana, we've come a long way, and this is not the things that we bargain for. So he asked the question that the OSP, what he is hearing in the media, went to Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta's house. And it is on the basis that the OSP has made some allegations against the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta. So my question that my statement that I put out at the time was the New Patriotic Party, because of our beliefs and because of the fact that we believe in the tenets of our constitution, we are a party of democracy, where democracy is also hinged on rule of law. And the party also believes, or if you like, has an anti-corruption stance, which stance made the party bring about the special prosecutor to be able to augment the already existing framework in dealing with corruption as far as the AG is concerned. So I made a point that the NPP as a party will not shield anyone who is seen to be at the wrong side, and emphasis mine, and I'm choosing my words very carefully, who is seen at the wrong side of the law, meaning who is found to be guilty of any allegation. As we speak, the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta has not been tried. Nothing of a sort has happened. And so on what basis will anybody go to his house and show that lawless act in his house? And I went further to say that on the background that the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta and his lawyers are already engaging the special prosecutor, it is clear that this is a cross that the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta can carry. When you say this, how do you get that kind of publication that I have seen out there today? If you go to their website, there's no more there.
Did you use the word telemo?
No. I don't even understand telemo. I'm not a guy. What's the meaning of telemo?
Telemo. I mean, carry.
No, I don't even understand. No, I don't even understand Ghana.
Okay. So you didn't use that word?
No.
Okay.
So this was the basis.
Yeah.
And this is what I said. So I was totally misconstrued. It is a total deviation of what I said. It is not a reflection of my intent, and it cannot be the party's position. And so what you saw out there...
Because the initial impression that was created was that you had thrown the former finance minister under the bus.
I have given you the background now.
I understand that. I'm saying the initial impression that was created. Now here's the thing. If you look at today's Informer newspaper, this is how the Informer newspaper reports it. And I'm happy you're here because then you're able to put clarify or set the record straight. Now, it's actually a Newsdesk report. Sorry. It says Vincent Ekwasifwa, who's the New Patriotic Party Member of Parliament for Otafo, has advised the former Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, to carry his own cross in relation to the ongoing investigations launched into his activities during the tenure by the OSP. The MP's comments came after the OSP had declared the former minister a fugitive when the news went around that he left the jurisdiction of Ghana or maybe hiding somewhere within the country. And it goes ahead to give a whole background, but you don't need that. But this is where you were supposedly quoted. Commenting on the issue on Accra-based Star FM, Vincent Asifwa admonished Ken Ofori-Atta to take in his strides what is happening and carry his own cross without blaming anyone. Telemo is a Ghana expression loosely translated to be carry your cross. Meanwhile, the MP minority in Parliament, so this is how the informer captures it. And you're saying this is not accurate.
Even the flyer that you saw out there, go back to the website, it is no more there. I engaged the media.
Oh, it's been taken?
Yes, it's been taken off. So I'm just saying that it was a total misconstruction of what I meant.
Okay.
It is a total deviation of my reflection.
Okay.
It is a total deviation of what I intended to say. It cannot be what I meant to say. The party, and clearly after elections, if there are people who are defending this party, it is going to be very difficult for you to say Vincent is out of those people. So I am a full-blown party person. And of course, at this juncture, or at this point in time, when party members, as it were, are witch-hunted, I will be the last person not to so. But as I said, the MPP as a party does not, or will not, shield anybody who is found to be at the wrong side of the law. And so it is a total misconstruction of what I intended to say.
Okay. That's fine. And how about the second issue with the your decision to go to court on the termination of the contracts of persons who were? Have you already instituted? Have you already initiated the processes?
Well,
or you're yet to do that.
So this issue started about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yes.
When the Honorable Chief of Staff issued a statement directing heads of agencies to furnish the office of the president with information with respect to people or persons who were employed, appointed, recruited after the 7th of December. I initially had a problem with that letter or that statement because it is not enough for anybody to think that because you had your letter after 7th of December, that in itself means that it is illegal. Or the letter shouldn't have been given to you. There are two things that happens in such instances. It is either the letter is indeed valid or it's not valid. I'll get into that.
Okay.
So 2 or 3 weeks after, we now see a letter again from the Chief of Staff now directing heads of agencies to, as it were, suspend, terminate, or revoke appointment letters that were issued after the 7th of December.
Okay.
Now my question is, I have not cited any letter from the President directing the Chief of Staff, because even if you read the Chief of Staff's letter,
signed by Felix Ofosu-Kwakye,
it does no. I think it was signed by
Kalisus Mahama.
Yes,
Dr. Kalisus Mahama.
I think so.
No, I think that the one that I have seen was
signed
by the Minister for Minister of State in charge of government communication.
That he's been. If you have that letter,
president. That's Felix Kwachofosu.
You have that letter.
That's the one I have.
Okay. So I would want to make a point.
Yes.
As to whether the chief of staff is clothed with that jurisdiction.
Annie, please, if we have the Felix's statement, if we can put it up so that we can read it again, in order to put the conversation. Good. So here we go.
Right.
Okay, so this is signed by Dr. Okay, so you're right. It's signed by Kalisu, so you're right. Absolutely.
No, it's signed by Julius Debra himself.
Yeah, this is actually signed by Julius Debra himself. Okay, so I haven't seen this, to be honest with you.
Yes.
There's another one which I saw which was signed by Felix. So it's at the Office of the President, revocation of appointment and recruitment made after 7th December 2024. Consistent with government pronouncement in relation to near end of tenure appointment and recruitment, I wish to bring to your attention that all appointment and recruitment made in the public services of Ghana after 7th December 2024 are not in compliance with established good governance practices and principles. Accordingly, all heads of government institutions are hereby requested to take the necessary steps to annul any such appointment or recruitment and submit a comprehensive report on the actions taken to the office by 17th February 2025. So they actually have 3 days more. Okay, your cooperation in this matter is highly appreciated. That's Honorable Julius Debra. So you're right, Chief of Staff. No, you said Callistus, but this is actually Julius.
Yes, so Chief of Staff.
Yeah, that's fine.
So the point I want to make, and I will take you to Article 195 of the 1992 Constitution.
Yes.
I just want to tease the minds of Ghanaian people.
Right.
As to whether the Chief of Staff is clothed with the jurisdiction and the legal power to write this letter without referencing or without letting the people of Ghana know that he is under the direction of the president to do so. I take you to Article 195.
Okay.
Subject to the provisions of this Constitution, the power to appoint persons to hold or to act in an office in the public services shall vest in the president.
Okay.
Shall vest in the president.
Not the presidency. I think that's
not the presidency.
That's the distinction you want to
shall vest in the president.
In the president, okay.
Acting in accordance with the advice of the governing council of the service concerned given in consultation with the Public Service Commission. Now, when you take the two, that is when the power that has been given to the president is delegated. The president can delegate some of that power to persons that have been named in the Constitution, or if you like, where Parliament has approved that such persons are clothed with the power to do so.
Okay.
So, two, the president may, subject to such conditions as he may think fit, delegate some of his functions under this article by directions in writing to the governing council concerned, or to a committee of the council, or to any member of that governing council, or to any public officer.
To any public officer?
Up to any public officer.
Okay.
Now, let me emphasize this one. Under this article, by directions in writing. So, the same way appointments are done, the same way revocations will have to be done.
Right.
The office of the president is a continuum. It is not individualistic. And so I am just teasing the minds of the Ghanaian people whether what Julius Debra wrote is in consonance with the law, especially Article 195 of the Constitution.
Okay.
As to whether Julius Debra himself
is clothed with
the power and authority to do what he did.
Statement or that letter.
That is number one.
So we'll leave it to
the people of Ghana.
Not as well, especially the legal brains to debate that. But we'll come back to this at some point, because I'm sure that it's a question, even though it sounds more like a rhetorical question, but it is also to trigger a certain kind of conversation, because this is not the first time we're seeing this. In the past, we've seen chiefs of staff issue all kinds of statements, directing all kinds of things. And I'm sure that at some point we'll come back and have a conversation about whether indeed it falls within the ambit of the law.
Right.
Yeah. So it's an interesting question you've asked.
Right.
Yes. So carry on.
Number two, we need to set this foundation. we need to let the Ghanaian people know as to the power that is given to a person or a president or a governing council to be able to terminate appointment.
Okay.
And that has also been enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. If you read Article 191, it says, a member of the public service shall not be, the B is dismissed or removed from office or reduced in rank or otherwise punished without just cause.
Okay.
Otherwise punished without just cause. And so, a member of the public service, and we will turn, or if you like, I will turn your mind to the definition of what public service is under the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. You cannot have your appointment terminated.
Sorry, which article again? If you
This is Article 191B.
Article 191B
B of the 1992 Constitution.
We're also doing our research, so.
No, that's it.
No, I get it. No problem.
A member of the public services shall not be dismissed.
I just wanted clarity.
Yes, or removed from office, or reduced in rank, or otherwise punished.
Okay.
Without a just cause.
Right.
Without a just cause. And so, before a person who is a member of the public service will have his or her appointment terminated, you may have been given a just cause before your appointment could have been terminated.
Okay.
Without just cause, it cannot happen. Now,
but you would also agree with me that a just cause is relative.
It's relative, and it lies in upon top.
Yes.
You understand? Yes.
Yes, that's fine.
It may even be regulated by Article 296 of the Constitution, where discretion is given to the person.
And I'm asking this question because Felix Ofosu-Kwakye has had cause to respond to this question about whether there's a just cause, and he's given stated reasons why that decision was taken. So when you're done, I can also...
no, it's important, and I'll address them.
Yeah, that's fine.
How is a member of the public service engaged or appointed in this country? How? Before someone becomes a member of the public service, one, there should have been a financial clearance that the person can be paid. And if you look at the definition of who a public servant is, they are civil servants whose salaries and emoluments are drawn from the consolidated fund or any fund that is approved by Parliament of Ghana. That is what the Constitution defines, or if you like, the Public Service Act defines who a public servant is. So after the financial clearance has been given, there should have been an advertisement in the dailies, whether 2 weeks or 1 month or 2 months, depending on the advert that is given.
Yes.
Now, after the advertisement, the Public Service Commission will now constitute an interview committee, which interview committee will now have the opportunity to interview persons who made the applications after the advertisement was made.
Okay.
After the interview session, it will warrant a short listing of persons who qualified or otherwise. It is the short listing of these members or persons who applied that will warrant appointment letters being issued out to persons who actually qualified. So let it be known to well-meaning Ghanaians that no one can use a month. No one can use 1 month to give appointment to persons or certain persons in this country. Anybody who had his appointment after 7th of December does not mean that the person did not go through the due process in getting the appointment. It is possible that the person also did not go through the due process, So I am speaking for persons who actually went through due process before appointment letters were issued out to such persons. It is possible that financial clearance was attained about 6-7 months ago. It is possible that after the financial clearance was attained, advertisement was done about a month or two later. It is possible that the Public Service Commission started its interview around October. And it is also possible that after the Public Service Commission gave out the shortlisting of members who qualified after the interview, appointment letters were issued either before 7th of December or after December. So a letter that is given after 7th of December in itself does not make it illegal. That's the point I've been making. And we should be very clear as to how some of these appointments can be terminated. In 2019.
But before you even go ahead to talk about how these appointments are terminated, I have a follow-up question for you before. But let me just say that Atai has joined us. He's the MP for Sagnerogo constituency. He's a new king of the block as far as that constituency is concerned. He beat a political colossus and a giant of ABF Husseini there. He's a very good rapper. He's a very good poet as well. I'm not him. I'm talking about ABF Husseini. We miss him though. We miss him though. Yeah. We have some of his famous. I don't know that. Sorry, Annie. I don't know. I have some of the ABF Husseini's famous quotes. If you do, at some point we'll play it. But we miss him. It's been a while we heard from him. But anyway, Honorable, good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
And assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
And Juma Mubarak.
Mubarak.
Yeah. But before you, I mean, your colleague has been.
But normally when I'm on set with them, they always come late. I don't know why. The NDC is always late for programs. I don't see why they do that.
Let's not start the morning like this.
That's a very general attack.
Yeah, exactly.
This is always late for programs. Anyway. I'm sure you had some.
But you are late.
Yes.
Typically,
apologies.
10 up for.
I'm very time conscious.
Yes.
You know, even in the house, you people are late. So
we have had 2 quorums raised on the floor of Parliament because they could not even marshal their own persons to come and do government business.
That's another matter that we'll look at. I'm told there's some serious genuine challenges that the First MPs have faced, especially those who live.
He's aware.
Oh, he's aware.
Yes. Now.
Okay, and I'm told
you have first time SEO. Even
it's accommodation challenge.
The number 88.
Okay.
They haven't been able to even marshal the 88 to chamber. I remember the first time I saw their complete set was the inauguration day on SIF.
And since then,
look at them.
Since then,
26, 25. You can't even marshal half of them to
let's not get him off track.
Yes.
He's very unhappy with the decision by the Chief of Staff to terminate appointments of public servants who are appointed post December 7th. That's the issue. You know he's going to court.
Yes.
So he's addressing the reasons why he wants to go to court.
Okay.
The problems he finds with that singular decision. So please go ahead.
So in 2019.
Yes. No, sorry. There was a question I wanted to ask you. You said the fact that somebody is being given an appointment post December 7th does not necessarily mean that in itself doesn't officially state that the person started work December 7th, and so the person must be affected by that policy decision of terminating people's appointment December 7th. I hope I got that correctly.
Yes.
But how else is a chief of staff going to be able to tell whether indeed you were given an appointment post December 7th, if apart from your appointment letter?
So you see why in my
earlier
initial
submission,
comment, I made mention to the fact that the earlier letter that emanated from the office of the Chief of Staff was bereft of asking for the full information.
Okay, on when exactly the person was employed?
No, as to asking for persons who were given appointment letters after the 7th of December, whether or not they went through due process.
Okay, and when due process you're talking about is the advertisement of the
financial clearance,
first of financial clearance, advertisement of the availability of the
PSC setting up a commission, an interview committee.
Yeah.
The committee also
shortlisting and so on. Whether
going through the
whether
interview,
those processes were followed.
That is the right procedure. And I'll take you to the case of the National Service in 2017. And when you give me time, I will read a letter that was written by the current Attorney General.
Yes.
In 2017, when his own law firm wrote a letter to the Office of the President, or if you like, the Attorney General at the time, warning, if you like, or representing members of the National Service. So I have the letter here.
Yes.
So the heading is Ayine and Feli, Law Officers of Ayine and Feli. He wrote this letter on the 22nd of February 2017.
Okay.
He addressed the letter to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. The heading is Notice of Intention
Okay.
to Institute Local Action, Legal Action, withdrawal of appointment of 205 employees of the National Service Scheme.
Okay.
Let me repeat it. This letter was written on the 22nd February 2017.
Okay.
2017, around the same time.
Yes.
When there was a change of government. The heading is Notice of Intention to Institute Legal Action. Withdrawal of appointment of 205 employees of the National Service Scheme. We act as lawyers for Lukman Imoro of house number so and so, Accra, and other employees of the National Service Scheme whose appointments were purportedly withdrawn on the 10th day of February 2017, hereinafter referred to as our client, around the same time, 10th of February. I can go on and go on and go on and go on. It says that we are informed by our clients that they responded to an advert in a daily graphic sometime in 2016 and applied for permanent employment to the NSS. Our clients were invited to attend interviews on various days in 2016, subsequent to which they variously received letters dated 12 December. Letters 12 December. You see, the veteran, the Honorable Ayine, is trying to take us through the processes of what? Attaining an appointment letter as far as the Public Service Commission is concerned. It goes ahead to say that by variously dated letters, they accepted their respective offers of employment and proceeded to their designated offices across the country to commence work and have since undertaken their work without any complaint from the NSS. It goes on to ask what the instructions of the clients themselves was demanding of their lawyer, which is Ayine. It says that our clients instruct us to give you notice, and notice is hereby given that they intend to bring legal proceedings against the state for wrongful dismissal. For wrongful dismissal.
Okay.
You are informed by this notice that our clients will seek, among other things, the following reliefs from the courts.
Right.
A declaration that the letters dated 7th day of February 2017 and the 10th day of February 2017 constitute wrongful dismissal of our clients from their permanent employment with the National Service Scheme. An order directing the National Service Scheme to reinstate our clients to their respective or similar positions at the National Service Scheme.
Right.
And C, a perpetual injunction restraining the NSS from permanently replacing our clients and or offering their positions to any other persons and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So, first and foremost, let me even distinguish between what is happening now and what happened then. What happened then was not a directive from the president or the chief of staff. It was rather an agency led by Mustafa Yusuf, at the time who went to National Service as the executive director and found out that certain appointments were done at the National Service without due process followed.
Okay.
It is distinguishable with that of the Senate matter. When Ernest Thompson was the executive director of Senate, at the time appointed about 400 people, had the appointment given to them around January 2017. when they were just about leaving office. And those persons, as we speak, Moru, are still working with the National Service, are still working with what? The Senate as an institution.
Okay.
They have not had the appointment terminated. Moru. They have not had the appointment terminated. Senate. So it is distinguishable from that of the National Service Scheme.
Okay.
Which the Honorable Ahini gave an indication that they were going to court, and indeed went to court and lost. Because it was clear that these persons did not go through the right procedures before such appointments were given. So let no one deceive you that it happened in 2017 and it is happening today. Even on the backdrop of what Honorable Osafo Maafo said, it was not practicalized, or it was practicalized. It was practicalized because persons who actually went through due process was never asked, even though, was never sacked, even though the appointments were given to them after the 7th of December.
Okay.
There were persons who were sacked, even though the appointments were also given to them after the 7th of December, because they did not follow due process. That is the National Service case.
Okay.
And so, let it be known to the people of Ghana that anybody who tells you it happened in 2017, and so if it is happening now, it is okay. No. There are two distinguishable issues, two distinguishable matters. We have not, or the MPP government was not that lawless, was not that insensitive, to the extent that it issued a letter that went across all agencies for the agencies to also go ahead to issue revocation or termination letters to persons. It never happened.
Okay.
So, a case in point, and I will take you to what in 2019, the case of Teofilo Zonko,
right,
when Mrs. Akufu had the opportunity to address matters that was sent before it. Mrs. Akufu.
You mean Gloria Akufu?
Gloria Akufu.
The former,
yes,
former Chief Justice.
Yes. Had the
the former Attorney General.
Had the, no.
You're talking about the Attorney General.
No, not the former Attorney General.
Oh, you mean the former Chief
Justice? I'm saying that this is, yes,
Sophia Akufu.
Yes, Akufu.
Oh, you mean it's Sophia, okay.
So, she had the occasion to sit on this matter at the Supreme Court. If you like, she gave the reasoning. Ratio decidendi, or if you like, the decision of the Teofilo Zonko versus the Attorney General.
Yeah.
Mrs. Akufu had the occasion to refer members, or if you like, persons who actually took the matter to court, or parties to the case, to the Transition Act of this country, which Transition Act enumerates portfolios or persons whose term of office is coterminous with that of the president. And it has been stated, I think, under Section 8 or 9 of the Presidential Act, which states that ministers of state, deputy ministers of state, their aides, and even non-career ambassadors or high commissioners will have their term of office coterminous with that of the president.
Right.
And so, persons who are deemed to be permanent staff of the Public Service Commission cannot be treated as persons who are having their term of office coterminous with that of the president. My point is, if anybody was appointed, even a day before elections, as a minister of state, his term of office is coterminous with that of the president, or if that person was appointed as an aide to a minister or a non-career ambassador or a high commission, that person's term of office is coterminous with that of the president. However, members who are deemed as permanent staff, like the ones we are seeing, members of the Ghana Water Company, members of GRIDCO. Yesterday, I received about 3 different categories of revocation letters or termination letters. Ghana Water Company, GRIDCO, GRE. And all these persons have been dismissed, or if like they've had their letter terminated just because there's a directive. And in fact, if you read the revocation letter, it states that based on the directive from the Chief of Staff, they are having their letters revoked or terminated, instead of them to say, oh, the due process was not followed, or per the Constitution Article 191, there's a just cause for us to dismiss or if you like terminate the appointment letters. Okay. None of these things was ever said.
Okay.
Only for appointment letters and termination letters to be given.
Okay.
To these persons. And so my point is that these persons, these innocent poor people, would need to have their rights under Chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution protected. They are Ghanaians. They are not MPP or NDC Ghanaians. These persons are Ghanaians. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama indicated to us that when he has the opportunity, he is going to make sure that he creates jobs for the Ghanaian people. We did not sign for termination of appointment. We did not sign for asking young men in this country to, as it were, go and stay home after they have been given or they have gone through the proper laid down procedures to be employed. To end with my submission.
Yes.
I am sending a caution to the NDC government, especially His Excellency the President. As far as our security architecture is concerned, with this, I am terminating appointments of these people and all that. It is risky if you take that to the security services. Why am I saying that? These young men and young women at the training center now has been trained. Some of them, or if you like, all of them, has been trained as far as dismantling guns are concerned, shooting is concerned. Some of them have been in uniforms and they've undertaken a number of security operations already. And if you want to take these people out of training and now put them back to the society, it is a recipe for chaos. It is dangerous to our democracy. It is dangerous to the security of the state.
Okay, Vincent.
Because these men or young men can now be used for anything because they've been trained.
Right.
And we should be very careful in, as it were, sending these people out of training.
Okay.
On the altar of there's been a change of government.
Right. I'll bring in Isata shortly on this. But whilst you were submitting on this matter, a couple of things came to mind. I just want some clarity here. Is it that in principle, right, you have a problem with an incoming or a new government dispensing with the services of persons who were appointed within a certain time frame because they do not, because due process was not followed, right, in leading up to their employment or their recruitment? Or your problem is that even if people they went through the right processes, the right channels to get to where they are now, the government does not reserve the right to look into it and investigate and ask whether indeed the right things were done before a decision is taken as to whether their contracts must be revoked or terminated, right? I want to know exactly where you stand. Is it that, and I need to clarify my point, do you in principle have a problem with the government that comes to power, party that comes to power, now in government, saying that, look, some persons we have observed during a certain period were not properly employed, and so go back home and reapply, go through the right process, and then we can reinstate you? Is it that in principle you have a problem with that, or you're saying that during a transitional period, and you have a situation where Felix Ofosu-Kwakye during the transition period actually even sent a notice to the government at the time? Yes, I mean, I agree. The MPP at the time had both the political and the constitutional legitimacy to employ anybody they wanted to employ. But at the time, I recall Felix Ofosu-Kwakye sending a signal to join the transition meetings that, look, they had heard that certain persons were being employed, and thousands of them, and that he didn't think that it would be fair for you to employ these persons and then sort of dump them on the government even without asking whether those persons could be paid or not when the new government takes over. And so don't do it, desist from it. And yet the government went ahead and employed all these persons, not even say 20, 30, 40, 50, but thousands of public servants, as we're being told. Do you honestly and in principle have a problem with that? So you see, I'm asking two questions. One, people didn't follow due process, they are being asked to go home. Or you're saying that even if due process was followed, the government doesn't have the right, the new government doesn't have the right to say that, look, you guys were employed, but we told the government at the time not to wait, not to employ you, and then went ahead to employ you. And so we're going to look into it and then possibly ask you to go home. I don't know exactly where you stand on this. And again, you know, I'm one person in principle who does not believe in this, you do me, I do you kind of politics, because I have always said that it's not a race to the bottom. We must be seen to be making progress. But sitting here, I have been sent tons of information and newspaper publications on things that were done in 2017. Some dismissals that were done, that were occasioned. Because, in fact, at that time, whoever did it said, these persons were NDC people, and so they must go home. This has even nothing to do with whether they had gone through due process or not. The only crime was that they were NDC, so go home. And most of these guys were sacked. Some even dating as far back 4, 5 years, 6 years into the NDC administration at the time. You know, and people are actually sending me messages and informing and actually reminding me about some of these things that had happened. And there's also some Osafo Mafu video where he was saying that, look, it was in 2017, where it says we're now in power, and at the time, of course, the MPP, we're now in power, we're going to look into contracts that were signed. We call them last-minute contracts. Okay, so here's the attention, Mr. Julius Debra. So now listen, now read this letter. Dear Mr. Debra, so the Chief of Staff, Office of the President, Republic of Ghana, Flagstaff House, Accra. Attention, Mr. Julius Debra. Dear Mr. Debra, decision of the co-chairs of the Presidential Transition Team to suspend the recruitment of the government statistician, senior staff of the Economic and Organized Crimes Office, YOCO, and senior staff of other MDAs. And it says, I write to confirm our agreement reached on the above subject matter per our telephone conversation of December 17, 2016, which took place within the hour of 17, so that's 5 p.m., as follows. 1, the current rush to recruit personnel at various MDAs appears improper and must be discontinued. 2, it is agreed that positions such as the government statistician and senior staff personnel of YOCO are highly critical and must only be carried out with the explicit consent of the transition team of the president-elect. 3, it is mutually agreed that the recruitment of the government statistician and senior staff of YOCO and other MDAs shall therefore be suspended by the government. So this was a warning that was actually issued to the Chief of Staff at the time, by the Chief of Staff at the time. It says, considering the short duration of a transition period, we trust that any emergencies that may arise regarding the need for recruitment shall be considered on a case-by-case basis and with the explicit consent of the transition team of the president-elect, counting on your cooperation. Yours sincerely, Engineer Yao Osafo Mafo, representative of the president-elect and co-chair 2016 transition team, the President-elect Public Services Commission. Now, I want to ask how different is this from what is happening today, even though I agree that we must be making progress. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with this conversation. When we're done, we will go back and ask where we are as far as our quest to have the former finance minister, who's now been declared by the OSP or by the special prosecutor as a fugitive, in bringing him down to Ghana to come and answer some questions as we're into. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
All appointments also emphatic of revoking all appointments and employment made after the December 7 elections by the NDC government.
We have a payroll for every department and every sector, institution in this country. So if I'm appointed a new minister and your payroll, you are not on the payroll till December, the day of the election, and you're going to appear on the payroll for January, when were you engaged in that particular thing? You are going to create a problem. If names appear on the payroll after December, we definitely will lay them off quietly.
Also,
Experience the enhanced protection of Star Motor Third Party Extra from Star Assurance, an enhanced motor third party insurance policy that provides cover for loss or damage to your vehicle's windscreens, side mirrors, back glass, and other glass components. Whether it's a crack or major damage, you can drive with the assurance that your vehicle is well protected. Our commitment to you includes affordable coverage options and a claims process that is both fast and straightforward, so you spend less time dealing with paperwork and more time on the road. Also, we have proudly partnered with Hope for Little Lives, an organization dedicated to supporting children in need. By choosing Star Motor Third Party Extra, you're protecting your vehicle and making a positive impact. Every policy you buy helps bring joy and support to children in underserved communities. Reach out to us now on our toll-free numbers 0800-177-177 or 0302-245-906 to sign up. Let us help you drive with peace of mind and purpose. Star Motor Third Party Extra. Drive with confidence, give back with heart.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Who are you? Who are you? Charlie, I'll be you from the future. Who doesn't sleep on that slice of bready poor mattress anymore? Don some slippers, then follow me.
You just buy the mattress we did the front there.
Yeah?
That be the mattress where the dead go to.
Wait, what are you doing? Wow! No damage at all. Not only durable, but also super comfortable. Come on, try it.
Nothing day like Ash Foam. Enjoy full body support and unparalleled comfort for a restful sleep.
Don't forget your keys.
Get the premium sleep experience with mattresses from Ash Foam. Visit any of our showrooms nationwide or at ashfoam.com.
Fire pomudi ni agobi Ghana fueni age efi say ya your local spices na ya frafra dia ya sankofa natural spice
me dey go me jollof mu ni me still ahodoma e ma ne dance
Stanley the barbecue dey go on
sankofa natural spices and one even use 100% natural said the happen
Adofo mamunye huge mistake sankofa natural spices the year
FDA ejedi nkratu yatu.
You the answer to my prayers. You with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know. Tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's party time! Ignite Media, in collaboration with AUCC, presents the Campus Red Party! On Valentine's Day, Friday, 14th February 2025, all roads lead to the forecourt of the AUCC campus at Adabraka for an unforgettable party experience. Artists passing through include Slim Kid, Kenny Eyes, and many more. DJs on the night include Kelvin DJ, NK DJ, DJ Juicy, and our very own DJ Legend. So join us on the forecourt of AUCC live on Friday night from 5 p.m. till Mama Calls. Campus Red Party is brought to you by Blue Jeans Vodka Mix. See you on Friday, Valentine's Day, at the forecourt of AUCC for this amazing experience you will not forget.
All right, so welcome back. This is Good Morning Ghana on the Metro Television. I have with me here this morning the MP for the Sahanedogo constituency. It's called the Honorable Issa Atawata Issa. He's also a former accountant of the NDC. I don't know if he's still the accountant, but no, I don't think so. You can't combine both roles, yes. And then also the Honorable Eko Vincent Asifua, who is the MP for Old Tafo, but a former deputy minister in charge of local government decentralization and rural development. We're having a very interesting conversation about the propriety or otherwise of the decision by the chief of staff to do away with the services of some thousands of public sector workers who were employed post-December 7. It's raising some interesting questions about the action or decision by the Chief of Staff. First of all, he wants to know whether the Chief of Staff is properly clothed with the authority and law to have done that. And somebody has actually sent me a very interesting take on that. He's not a lawyer, but he is, you call him a pocket lawyer. He likes to read a lot when it comes to matters on law. So he sent me a very interesting take, and I'll read that. So I was asking a question before we went on break. That's not for him to answer. I'll come back to him for him to ask, because I want to know, it's simple, whether in principle he thinks that, look, this thing where people are employed, last-minute employment, or at the dying embers of a government, you employ persons and then you dump it on the incoming. I would like to answer. No, well, when I say dying embers, it could even start from November, and then you dump it on the incoming administration to deal with. Whether he actually thinks it's a good practice, or in principle he thinks that, look, once people did not go through due process leading to the employment, he doesn't have a problem with them, with their contracts being terminated. And looking back to some of the events that unfolded 2016, 2017. So where do you stand on this? What do you think?
Okay, so let me say good morning once again to you and to my colleague and to the good people of Sanaro. This type of discussion, anytime I'm confronted with a topic like this, I have this nostalgic feeling.
Okay.
Because
you have a personal experience?
Yes, I was once a victim with the Bank of Ghana, like I told him earlier.
Okay.
Where, in fact, the processes started in April 2016. I was called for interview. I went through medicals, and then we were told that we should start. So 3 months into the start of work, there was change of government. And immediately they appointed a new governor. We were told to hold on. We held on for 8 years. So when you look at situations like this...
So you didn't even start work at all?
No.
But you got the job?
Yes.
But you're told to hold on?
Hold on.
Because it's changing government?
Changing government. And the processes started in April 2016, bear in mind. April.
Okay.
That is the time that the NDC government was still in power. And they could not envisage that they would lose the election. I'm bringing you to the fact that, in principle, I disagree with the concept of recruiting people after election. Why? First of all, you know that the country had capacity to recruit. You didn't deem it fit to recruit them. It is when the die has been cast and the outcome is known, then you want to now populate your party people into government. That's the meaning. Number two, which newspaper did you see any adverts in any state institutions right after the elections? Which media did you see it?
But he says the process started before December 7.
What process? We have all been in government and out of government. I am telling you, political parties should stop mortgaging the future of their political foot soldiers and the youth to outcomes of elections. Sometimes the outcomes of the election takes them by surprise. But they had promised people that after the election, we'll get you a job. The election is over. They haven't won the election. Yet they still want to give them the job. If you look at Section 7 of the Transition Act, it talks about giving a proper handing over notes to the incoming government. What are you handing over? The current state of the country as at that time. It means that the total size of your labor force, the wage bill, and all those things should be known. So what is the purpose of giving me a complete and comprehensive handing over notice when in January, before I'm even sworn in, the wage bill keeps on ballooning? What's the purpose of transition then? So that's what I'm saying, that if you look at all those things, you realize that the political class needs to take Ghanaians serious. In any case, the Employment Act or the Labor Act 2003, or it's been amended. You don't mind me. So what I'm trying to say is that it enjoins governments or state institutions to provide a fair grounds for people to be employed. In the SY administration, for those government, there was that opacity in the recruitment process. You'll be there, a colleague or a constituent will call you, Honorable, some people are at a training for immigration. Or, Honorable, they've started calling people for police. Honorable, this. Or, I need this amount of money to get recruitment into the security agencies. When you want to sacrifice civil commitment, patriotism, to the altar of who can pay, that is what you always get. Competence has been sacrificed. So these days, recruitment competence is none. People don't value where the course you did, where you best fit in. It's about who you know or who knows you better and how much you can pay. When you do those type of recruitments, a new political government will come and revise everything that you did because you did not recruit them based on commitment. He mentioned that at their time, it was NSS that it happened. But I can assure him, every state institution in Ghana at that time got affected with the post-election decisions. Ever. I know colleagues who called me from multiple, and as at that time, Dr. Isaac Nashiro was still the governor of Central Bank. Something that has a fixed term, according to the Bank of Ghana's Act. But he was forced to resign. So my point is that, yes, it shouldn't continue. This type of aggressive approach to dismissing people, I don't think is the right way. But government should also know that you don't burden the incoming government with difficulty in the wage bill such that the government will not have enough fiscal space. I don't support that, and I will never support it. Then my brother talked about...
Will it matter if the numbers are few? Say maybe 1 or 2?
No, so...
Will it matter?
Earlier, like I said, personally, I don't have problem with people getting appointment letters after December. Like I said earlier, some recruitment process takes some time. You go through a lot of processes. So a case can be made for such a person. So I'm not a person who is against that. Any letter you get after 7th December, automatically you don't qualify. There are a lot of procedures in some institutions that you have to go through. And I'm happy to, Chapter 5, he talked about human rights of the person. I'm happy he's challenging the decision of the Chief of Staff in court to enrich our democracy so that we will know whether the Chief of Staff...
I'm not sure if it's one of the things you're challenging in court. Are you? Are you challenging that in court?
I am. Well, so I want to do that both ways.
Oh, you want to do both?
One,
that's fine.
By way of judicial review.
Okay.
To quash the decision, if like the revocations that has been done.
Okay, to make it null and void.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And secondly, to also go by way of a class action.
Okay.
So that all those persons who have been...
Okay, will be reinstated.
Will be reinstated.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so I wish you well in that...
in his endeavor.
Yes. I know, though I'm not a lawyer, but I know it won't go far. It is the heat of the moment.
Okay.
When things happen like that, they expect a lot from their leaders.
Well, let's wait for the court to determine that.
Now, into the security agencies, ideally, we shouldn't encourage, especially state security. One thing we must avoid is politicizing state institutions. And so for me, I don't think political parties should interfere so much into our state agencies. Because one of the things that is still protecting this democracy is the judiciary and the state institutions that we have, the independent state institutions. So if we bastardize that one too, like we saw in the President Akufo-Addo's regime, a lot of them, sometimes the way they remove some of the heads of those institutions, you ask yourself, really? So now, even though we must not politicize state institutions, just look at our recruitment methods into the security agencies. Sometimes, when you look at the conduct of some of, we have fine gentlemen in the military, in the police, and all those security agents, but in recent times, I think in both political parties in recent times, appointment sometimes is purely on partisan lines, and it doesn't give that level of independence. It doesn't give that level of professionalism on their part. It makes them biased. So I think that the committee that has been inaugurated by the Interior Minister should do a holistic review as to how to strengthen the Ghana Police Service, Ghana Immigration and the Prisons, and the Ghana Fire Service in terms of getting qualified personnel to serve this country with dignity and professionalism. And I'm happy the incoming government is taking government efficiency seriously, because it is not enough for you to keep on adding numbers just to satisfy your political ends. It's not enough. The goal should be that we must do everything to transition properly into the global sphere.
Right.
Countries are now talking more, like Dr. Baumia used to say, people are now in the 5th industrial revolution. We are still trying to adopt the 4th industrial revolution. So my point is that we must try to drive government efficiency. And pardoning the wage bill will not help us. Currently, as we speak, the road sector has 200 billion Ghana cedis debt. Meanwhile, the total size of Ghana's economy is not up to. So when you have situations like this, one thing you should avoid doing is things that you do to increase the cost of governance. And on that note, I want to commend the Chief of Staff. It's long overdue. In fact, people get angry when they still see some people in office. And I am urging some people in political appointments, they are still serving, but in dignity and for their own good. They don't need to get the letter revoking their appointment. You campaign seriously against the vision of someone, and now that same vision you didn't believe in, you want to help implement those visions. I don't think it sounds right. So all the state institutions that are yet to be appointed, I know there are still the SY government appointees who are serving there. I don't even want to go to the legal aspect of it, but I know they should live in conscience and in good judgment. That's what I have to say about it.
All right, so...
well, I have one or two
things to say in reference, because I want us to finish with this quickly.
Just about one or two things
and go on a search for the former finance minister.
My brother, see,
yes.
Let us not create an impression that a government, without any procedure or whatsoever, can intentionally populate the wage bill after elections. Hold on, no, but you see, unless, of course, I have been a deputy minister before, at least I saw how financial clearances were being sought for. When you are asking for financial clearance from the finance ministry, you ask for that financial clearance based on the fact that there has been a lacuna. If you like, persons or some persons have gone on pension out of the fact that persons who belong to the public service, some of them have died, or that particular agency. Some of them probably have traveled. Some of them have probably gone through study leave. Study leave, which is limitless.
It's not in all instances.
Oh,
no, please. No, if you create that...
Can I finish?
Okay. Because I wanted to draw your attention that state institutions that pay their own workers. They don't go through these processes.
Hold on. That is
And
why.
so, no, if you generalize it like that, it will not be a good representation.
Listen. Before such appointment or engagement can be done, you need that financial clearance. I'm saying that when you are going for that financial
the first
clearance,
criteria is to make sure that
yes,
there's financial
and you see, you give reasons as to why you need the finance ministry to approve to give you a financial clearance so you can go through that recruitment process.
Okay.
So let it not be an easy thing. Let it not appear so easy that a government or if like an agency can just sit after elections and just recruit persons.
Okay.
No, it is not that easy. Well, there are some agencies who, as you rightly said, few agencies, for example, YEA pays its own salaries from its own coffers because it has a statutory fund that is about 5% of the CST that is given to YEA. So that I agree. But I'm just saying that when you are going for the financial clearance for those agencies, this is the process that you go through. Don't overgeneralize it and make it look as if a government can just populate the wage bill after 7th of December.
That's the clarity I wanted to give.
Number two.
So, I mean, your point is that it's justified in some cases. In some cases, it's okay for people to debate it.
Yes, but you see, even if you are populating it, per the demonstration that I made to you, it cannot be possible for anybody to go through the right procedure, due process being followed, to get an appointment within a month.
And yet be terminated after a month.
It's not possible. So it is only possible when the right procedure or due process was not followed.
And that is exactly what we are talking about.
So that's the point I'm also making that.
That's what we are talking about.
So Vincent, and you know, he just asked, he said, look, regarding the matter of due process, you have just sat here and you have just stated the process that ought to be followed before people are employed. Seeking financial clearance, spaces are advertised, people apply, they are interviewed by the Public Services Commission, and then they are shortlisted, etc., etc.
Right.
Now, he was just asking you that, look, are you able to give us evidence of whether these
They are the ones
processes were
alleged.
followed?
That is why initially I told you that.
Yes.
When the Chief of Staff was giving out his first letter to the agencies, requesting for persons who has been employed or recruited after 7th of December, that letter was bereft of an information of the agencies to give the Chief of Staff.
Okay, so
hold on.
So it was too wholesale for your liking?
Yes, to give the Chief of Staff persons who did not follow due process.
Okay. No, I understand.
So that's what I'm saying, that after 7th of December, when the letter is given, please let it not be said that because a letter was given after 7th of January, it means that it did not follow due process. So I am going to court for persons who actually had the appointment letter by following due process.
Okay, so those are the guys you're going to fight for in court. Okay.
So
that's fine.
Yes. Okay. So, but you see, as you sit here, you cannot be sure. Your Chief of Staff himself failed to ask for those relevant information. That is why I commend Honorable Muntaka. Muntaka has set up a committee to investigate. You see, without the investigation, you will never know the people or persons, if indeed there are persons who did not go through the right procedure before the appointments were given.
If you understand
so
payroll
in order
audit,
to deal with this,
because if you know payroll audit very well, me as an audit person, one thing I can assure you, it's so easy to detect employment status of people, even with interviewing stages and all those things you ask for. So I am not sure the data that was sent to the Chief of Staff was just based on using those that came post the election.
That is what the
yes. I'm saying that the state institutions affected in that communique might have done some work on it because they have departments and that will furnish them with the accurate data of people who were recruited after the elections. I'm saying that there's available information to determine on the payroll to determine when somebody was employed. One thing I agreed with you, and I already stated it in my submission earlier, that there can be a case made for some selected group of people. But you cannot be doing thought information directive to, he's the Chief of Staff of the country. He cannot be giving persons in this, no. It's a general information. Then a case can now be made on case-by-case basis depending upon the facts of your case, and I gave you my instance. If somebody in this current administration or the previous administration or an employee has been terminated on the grounds of the letter,
okay,
the person that went through the same treatment I went through, I will not be surprised if they don't consider such a person.
Right.
I don't think that we should be too partisan on this matter.
Okay.
I think that it is your right to go to court, and I'll fully support you.
Okay. And let it be known that I'm going to court for persons
who
went through the right procedure.
Legitimately.
Okay. Yes. So I'm going to do my personal audit with those persons affected.
Okay.
So I just wanted to create the impression that it is not for anybody who was given an appointment letter.
No problem. We support the act.
But to also put this one out, the handing over note, you made mention of the handing over note that was given at the transition period.
Yes.
See, handing over notes are given to the chief of staff at the time, somewhere around August.
Yes.
Listen, because you see, that's where the problem is. The presidency or the tenure of office of a president is for 4 years. But here be the case, the Transition Act allows the current government to, if you like, solicit for handing over notes from various ministries and agencies 4 clear months before elections.
Yes.
Yes.
So the question is, what happens after the 4 months? Can it be captured? No. It can only be seen, or information can only be given to the incoming government at the transition level.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So if you, the incoming government, you now indicate that, oh, I have seen that, or I have heard that there are recruitments that are ongoing, or you are about giving employment letters, so please desist from it. It is not enough to give that caution. But it is okay to say that persons who have not gone through the right procedures, please don't burden the wage bill, because when we come, we will make sure that those appointments are terminated.
But you know,
there's a thin line between it.
Let me just I think we should just conclude on this, because we're spending too much time on this. And meanwhile, we have a former finance minister. We need to find out where he is and what his status.
Yes.
But here's the thing. Look, I'm just saying that must everything come down to law?
No.
I think morally there's an even issue to raise with it. Yes,
See,
I agree with you.
We can do the moral argument,
I agree with
but
you.
I'm just saying that morality is not law.
No, I get it.
We are a land, or we are a country.
But countries are not run only by law. I think it's also about conventions and also
but you see, when there's a
morality
constitution or when there's a law,
I agree with you,
and you are interpreting it, first and foremost, you have to do the literal meaning. Okay? Then after the literal meaning, if you see that the outcome of that literal meaning will be incongruous, will be one that is not reasonable, then you use a purposive interpretation of it, so that it will come out clear to save the state.
So for me, to help this, I think that the Presidential and Transitions Act must be more explicit on what a president can
there's
do.
even a treatment, there's even a solution. The August one you talked about.
Yes.
You see, you will still be run with a budget. Don't forget that.
Yes.
That we are aware of.
Yes.
The incoming government is aware.
Yes.
And then even in the one that will take us from November to January, the incoming government is well aware of it. So there are adequate provisions for us to track government performances and activities.
Yes.
My point is the intention matter here. The recruitment after December 7th, you do your audit. Most of the time, it is not based on any commitment or merit. It is just to satisfy people.
Yes. These allegations you are making, there's no basis to what you just said.
You come back and say
in conclusion, for as long as for close to 30-something years, we've been haggling over this matter for a very long time.
Why did you stop at the point?
Impose this on us? We're not able to pay. I'm just saying that, why can't we explicitly state it in the Presidential and Transition Act that after so and so period, don't do A, B, C, D. So that when you do it, you can be taken to court because you flouted the law.
I think so.
If we're going to always depend on people's discretion and opinion and what they deem fit or do not deem fit, we'll always be back here.
I agree.
Oh, anyway.
But it should end at the point. It's not a good thing.
Ambassador Sampiale has sent a message.
Senior.
He says, as a Ghanaian, I firmly believe that every citizen, regardless of their political affiliation, has a right to employment opportunities.
Yes.
However, when appointments are made based on deep partisan considerations, it's essential for appointees to recognize that there are equally qualified individuals from opposing parties who are also seeking employment. The Father for All policy initiated by Professor Mills is a case in point, although it aims to promote inclusivity. The subsequent NPP government abused this policy, adopting a Yejeyemine approach. It's hypocritical for those who have previously exploited such reconciliatory policies to now claim victimhood when the same approach is applied to them. All right. So, so a very good friend of mine, Abdul, he's popularly called Bagam. I'm sure Ataisan knows him. You should know him. He used to work with an insurance company here in Bagam. Bagam Abdul. I've forgotten his full name.
Yeah,
but he's probably known as Bagam. Yeah,
okay.
He's now based in the States. He says, the recent guy is funny. Does he think the NDC will allow those last-minute recruitments of heavy food soldiers to spy and snitch on the government? Look at the recent case at MIF. Left to me, the NDC must do a detailed staff audit from 2017 to the date, else wait and see the kind of things that will be happening. The NDC is playing with fire, trying to look good.
Moro.
All right, no, just hold on a second, I beg you. Hold on a second. All right. So I want us to move on.
But we have said the same thing. What he said is the same thing I've said.
That's fine.
I'm just saying that
Let's
those who do not go through the process, I am not going to support them.
No problem.
You understand?
You didn't go through due process, fire them.
Yes.
When you went to due process,
I will represent them
If
in
you
court.
fire them, I'll take you to court.
You knew,
right, so that's fine.
even the cleanup of the banking sector, the people that lost jobs, you knew that there was capacity to recruit. After they lost those jobs, you didn't find space. Only after election, you are now getting
So let's quickly do this.
It's not fair.
Let's quickly do. We have just 15 minutes. And I'm going to beg you guys because we don't have all day. We're just 15 minutes. So we're working with that time frame. Right, so the majority leader has apologized finally. You know, we were all wondering when we're wondering who was responsible when the raid on Kenneth Furate's house happened. And we had the special prosecutor in that presser say that they were not responsible. So yesterday, the majority leader apologized on behalf of the national security and said, as far as it's concerned, he will make sure that doesn't happen. In fact, if you read social media, you realize that not many of the NDC supporters on social media, I mean, specifically social media, were even happy with what Mahama Ayariga said. But it's been captured in the Daily Graphic today. It says, Enes Kofi from Parliament has reported, Majority Leader Mahama Ayariga has expressed regret over the recent raid on the private residence of former Finance Minister Kenneth Furatte, confirming that the operation was conducted by national security operatives along with police and military personnel. And it continues to say that speaking on the floor of Parliament, Mr. Ayariga described the incident as regrettable and assured lawmakers and the public that measures will be taken to prevent such occurrences in the future. The raid, which took place without a warrant, sparked controversy and debate across the country. Mr. Ayariga explained that in response to the concerns raised, he had initiated an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the operation. After consultations with key stakeholders, Mr. Ayariga confirmed the operation was led by an individual identified as Mr. Japa, believed to work with the National Security Coordinator's Office. So this is only one aspect of the matter. But the other aspect which dominated the discussions yesterday was about Mr. Kenneth Furatte and some of the crimes allegedly had committed, and the special prosecutor issuing an arrest warrant for him to be to attend to the business of the office of the special prosecutor. And of course, he also saying that, look, he's unwell. He's receiving treatment or medical treatment abroad, and so he can only tell us when he'll be available after March. I'll start with you. This time, let me start with Ataisa before Vincent comes in.
All right, so let me join my leader, the majority leader, in also condemning the regrettable act of raid on the residence of the former finance minister. I think after 32 or so years or more years of our democracy, this Rambo-style approach of always getting justice is appalling and it must be condemned. And this tit-for-tat kind of mentality that the two parties we have, I think it's high time that we put an end to it. It's only unfortunate that you will set the tone for ensuring proper good governance and another regime will come and ransack all the successes that you have made. So for me, I condemn it in no uncertain terms to the people that did.
But some of your party full are not happy with this apology at all.
You see, we have time.
They say they are paying.
No, you see, there's time for campaign. And there's time for governance. At this stage of our life, we promised the Ghanaian people that we're coming to reset this country towards promoting inclusivity, equity, and then jobs, jobs, and jobs for the people. This is the transition period. We don't need to still be doing as if we are going for an election. Now, let me use, the lawyers are here, 17.1 that talks about equality before the law. And I think that Ken Ofori-Atta is a Ghanaian citizen who, until recently, was a public officer and discharged his duties to the Republic of Ghana. And the purpose of democracy is to ensure that there is that level of accountability to the people. So in the discharge of your duty, you must also Article 286 talks about the public trust. As a public officer, you must endanger so much trust with the people.
Right.
So in the discharge of your duties, it is incumbent upon you to always create avenues to give back to society in terms of accounting for the stewardship you have. So I don't think much wrong has been done. I believe that if you look at also directive principle of state policy, it will tell you that state must do every means to curb corruption and abuse of power.
Yeah.
So it is on that basis I will proceed to say that the OSP needs to be encouraged and commended for taking this bold decision. And also I see that impartiality there because he was appointed by President Akufo-Addo.
Yeah.
Even the office creation was done by President Akufo-Addo. But he has demonstrated, or he is demonstrating, that he will not be a respecter of political party. Once the law is against you, he will pursue you. Now, yes, of course. Now, yes, so the point is that, like I said, Ken is not above the law. Let's get it right. And people must also understand that a mere invitation for questioning by a security agency or an investigative body doesn't criminalize you. So it is for the good of Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta to avail himself to get this done and life continues. Because there is a saying that there is nothing more important, even good name is better than riches. And the way and manner the name is going around doesn't give him that respect and dignity. So I think that if he can come, he should avail himself. Because if we go to the second leg of compelling him to come, we will only create unnecessary tension around the case. But what are the basis of this arrest warrant? We are all in this country. Any of these 5 cases that they mention needs answers to them. Unless you were not in Ghana. Is it the National Cathedral project? Anytime I'm going to Parliament, I pass through the cathedral. The only thing I see there is the portrait on the wall that they have done. Nothing else. He sees it too every day. And if the quantum of money that was sunk into digging that most expensive swimming pool there, somebody needs to answer. And who better answers such questions than the man who was in charge of our finances? So anytime I see the National Cathedral, it pains me a lot that according to the CDD report and Ghana Living Standard Service 7, over 2.1 million Ghanaians as of December 2024 could not eat. And we sank so much money into building a cathedral that we were promised that no state funds will be used for that. Somebody needs to answer. So I am happy that governance, yes, it's about continuum, but it's also about accountability. People must be ready to account to how they govern this country. SML. Look, if you do, like I told you,
you don't need to bother yourself with
the details.
Okay,
so what I would just say,
the office of the special prosecutor has the details of
and give the
matter and why they believe that
he has to answer
some questions.
Now,
so
I'm not a lawyer.
Okay,
I'm a finance person, but the description of a fugitive.
Yeah,
I don't know whether there's a law governor who is a fugitive. But whatever that is, if it is too high to call him that, I think the OSP needs to relook at it. You know, sometimes describing such officers, we still respect Ken because he served this country. So I don't think the word was too necessary for me. I don't believe in that. There was a better way it could have been described.
Do you also think the use of the word fugitive was a bit
it's
harsh?
too harsh for me. And then finally, before...
and like Yos and Anabuache said, it's unreasonable.
So the second one too is that, you see, it is because this is a high-profile person. There are other profile people in the report that I was shocked. The likes of Honorable Mustafa
Hamid. But it's an entirely separate case.
But the fact of that is still not conclusive.
It's an allegation.
An allegation.
Okay.
And I have no doubt. As for him, I know he's in the country, so I have no doubt as a practice.
Funny enough, that issue does not even have anything to do with MPA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he
himself has said in one of the newspapers that he's
the only caution I have for my friends in the MPP is that they must be ready for more.
Okay.
Because this is just the beginning.
More witch hunt.
When there is a witch,
you must be hunted.
The witch must be
Listen,
hunted.
So, can we do this in just 2 minutes? Because
yes.
our time is up, unfortunately. Unfortunately, our
right.
time is up.
So,
yes.
First
Briefly,
and foremost,
summary, what I say.
You allowed him to speak.
Just 5 minutes.
First and foremost,
5 minutes. Yes.
Let me indicate that what happened in the house of the Honorable Kenoforiata was barbaric. It was undemocratic. It was worrying and troubling. It puts us back to the dark days of prior 1992. We've come a long way, and I did not expect that we would get to that point. This morning when I woke up, the first thing that I did was to draft a question which should be directed at the Defense Minister to appear before Parliament to explain to the people of Ghana as to why military men were seen in the house of the Honorable Kenoforiata. I've read a number of cases and a number of laws in this country. Whatever happened there, I see no basis whatsoever to have warranted security personnel from the Ghana Armed Forces, whose face is very clear to be seen, to be identified, to have gone through what happened. It is wrong, condemnable, regrettable, and it should not have happened. So today, I am going to file a question in Parliament to hold the Minister for Defense to come to the House to explain to the people of Ghana what happened, and if you like, who actually directed these persons to go to the house of Kenoforiata. 2, the Honorable Kenoforiata had already indicated to the previous Chief of Staff and the current Chief of Staff that he's not going to be in the country on the basis of health reasons. And for that matter, he has made available his lawyers who are already in touch with the special prosecutor. I agree with my brother when the OSP describes the venerable and the respectable former finance minister whose benevolence today most of his people in his constituency have had free senior high school education. To describe him as a fugitive, especially when he himself have indicated what is taking him out of the country. It appears to me that the special prosecutor is interested and fond of media trial rather than trial that should happen
in the court.
That should start or be triggered with due process. It has always been his style. And unfortunately, the NDC seem to be enjoying from this. They seem to be supporting this. I do not see the moral grounds to which the NDC will even come to table with some of these things. When he was interested in going into those 5 cases.
Because
you have, hold on. Your office, AG, have had cause to tell the people of Ghana that because he was a counsel to certain clients who are being prosecuted, he had a position. And now if he is the AG, he cannot be seen to be prosecuting same persons. Reason he has filed nolli prosequa, or if you like, withdrawals. How can somebody's personal biases be imposed on the state this way? It is unfortunate. It should not have
Please
happened.
don't let it stand. Don't let it stand.
It should not have happened.
The cases that
and
he
the venerable
filed,
the venerable Ayine has imposed his personal biases and his personal position of the law.
You had 8 years in
because
government, yet
he
you
was a
couldn't
lawyer
find
or a counsel
a judgment
for
in those cases.
For these persons who are being prosecuted by the state. Now, because of his personal position of the law,
forget about the bias
or his biases, he has filed a nolli prosequa. These are the reasons that he's given to us.
But you had 8 years.
And please, my last statement.
You couldn't find a conviction.
I have been
8 years.
I have been in Parliament with Dr. Ayine for at least 5 years. I know him very well. I know the kind of person he is.
You had 8 years in government.
I know the kind of person he is. For Dr. Ayine to say that he was not under any direction or whatsoever from the presidency, and this nolli prosequa or withdrawals that he filed is out of his own volition. Mr. Dr. Ayine, I know you very well. You will never do this.
All right. So
you will never do this.
Let's do this quickly.
You will never do this.
I have a big birthday dedication to make. If I don't, I'll be in big trouble, because this man is a very, very, very important person who has contributed his quota to national development. I'm talking about Engineer Kweku Chuma Boafo. Today you're celebrating your 91st birthday. Wow, that's a big blessing. Today you're 91-year-old, and your children, one of whom is a regular viewer of the show, Kweku Chuma Boafo, says, on the occasion of your 91st birthday, would like to wish Engineer Kweku Chuma Boafo a happy Valentine's Day. Look at the coincidence, very interesting one. And all the love, peace, tranquility, well-being, and happiness that comes with it. Thank you for being a great husband, father, grandfather, mentor, and above all, an inspiration to all of us. We are all forever in your debt. From your dear wife, Vic, your children, Susie, Kofi, Kwejo, Ya, Kwame, and all the grandchildren. So happy 91st birthday to you, Engineer Kweku Chuma Boafo. That's the man in your shot. He's a big man. He's the man of the moment, and I want to wish you a happy, and God continue to bless you.
Happy birthday.
Bless you one more time. So, Vincent, I want to say a big thanks to you for joining us on Good Morning Ghana today. Vincent Kwasefo is a member of Parliament for Otaf and also a former Deputy Minister, and also the Honorable Issa Atta, who is actually Atta Issa. Okay. So Atta Issa is the Member of Parliament for the Saknerugu constituency. Thank you very much for watching another edition of Good Morning Ghana. I am Awudu Moro. Once again, Juma Mubarak. Have a fantastic day. Tomorrow, I'll be back on your screens with Inside Pages from 8 to 10. So please stay with us and tune in tomorrow as well. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
True nature of who you are. This is why the Ghanaians gave you a vote to commensurate with the numbers you have. Yet you said you haven't learned any lessons. You haven't learned any lessons. You are still walking like this. Talking, you cannot tell us we are a government. Look at the size of the government. Is this a government? Is this a government? This is less than the district assembly size of this thing. True.